I had a wife, I had to pay rent, I had to run my business. Even though I had all of that, I still joined a fraternity.
I would still want my kid to go to college if it doesn't work out.
So now you're contradicting yourself. We just had a whole discussion about how your kid is not going to go to college because he's going to go work with you on your business.
No, that's the thing. So let me explain myself.
Have the memories.
Like you're being a little bit too harsh, Axel.
Yeah. Do you want to win and be a badass, or do you want to just live your life and have the experiences?
I think it all starts with self-awareness. I mean, if you're not self-aware, you think you're the shit. You think like these Tate followers. I'm not saying like Tate is bad or anything, but these Tate followers, there are some guys who take it up the ass and they're like, no, I'm a high value man. But what are they doing? Playing Fortnite every day. And it's crazy. They're deluded in their mind that just because they follow Andrew Tate, they're high value. But they're just doing all this stuff that doesn't get them high value.
Motivation porn.
Yeah,
it's crazy how like nowadays like
yeah, it's a thing.
It is.
Yeah.
No, they get hyped up and then they don't even act on it. They're like, oh, I feel motivated. Let me go play some games. Or something, right?
It's motivation porn.
It's
like it's an actual thing.
Yeah.
It's just like porn. Like when you're watching porn and you like if you're watching porn and just masturbating, in that little moment you feel like the shit. You're like, oh, this is awesome. Like, she's so hot. And in that moment, you feel great.
That's true.
But then you're not really having sex with anyone.
Oh.
So if you're motivating yourself, but then you're not really doing anything. But I think, you know what's the fastest way to fix that? Just surround yourself with people who are like top.
Yeah.
When you do that, then there's no room because the reality hits. And then you see the person doing better than you, growing, getting ahead, closing deals, making money, like having the girls and actually having sex with the women that they want to be with. And then you're like, fuck, I want that.
Yep.
That's kind of like, I could relate to like what Andrew Tate says. Like you have to like kind of get a little angry on the inside, like kind of a little bit jealous of what other people have and what you don't have. And then you could get a spark going inside of you. Like, oh, okay. Wait. Like what you said earlier about when you went on that yacht and you're like, oh, I didn't know, like when you came from Cuba and then you're like, oh, I didn't know people have money could do this. Like, I want to be on this level now. But before when you came, you're like, oh, I'm okay, like save money and stuff. But then when you have a little taste of that, you know, like they know everything you like and everything, you're like, oh, damn, you know, like this is the life, you know, this is the good stuff, you know. You're like, damn, imagine if it wasn't just the food, it was the woman too on the yacht that knew what you like. You're like, dude, you know, that's what's up, you know. That's what we're all trying to be at, right? Yeah.
I love this guy.
That's the energy we need, brother. Yeah, but
no, that's 100% for sure.
I want to build on that though.
Yeah.
We gotta be careful of that because viewers who see that and then they get mad and jealous of those people who get on yachts. There's some that want to improve, but then there's
what
also
he's
some
saying
that
is
stay like that.
He's saying get mad at yourself because you don't have that. That's what you meant, right?
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. Get mad at yourself.
Or like just like kind of angry in general. You have to get like a little angry. Just be like, oh, it's like unfair, you know, like because the world is unfair, you know. Like,
it is.
Have to, yeah.
You know what's the best for that? When another guy comes and takes your girl.
Dude, some people need that. Some people really do need that, bro. When someone just comes up and takes her bitch.
Never happened to me, but you know, I mean, I understand. That's good motivation.
That's really,
that's good motivation. But you could also drive a guy insane that he just hates the fucking world and doesn't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah, I could push him like.
It goes both ways. It could go one way or the other. So.
You could be like the richest man, or you could be like a serial killer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they pick to let's just do a business or some shit like that.
Yeah. Let's talk about this video.
Oh, Reagan.
We still have a couple more videos that we're gonna get to.
Some people don't have big dreams. Some people like don't care, you know. So at least I care, and if I care, I might as well care full extent, you know.
Yeah. As long as you see that as yourself growing and not putting yourself down for not hitting like crazy expectations. Yeah, that's definitely something that is going to be really helpful. And I think you get that with age too. And especially in the industry that you're in, you're supposed to grow really fast.
Oh, yeah.
Really big, really quick. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
So in this clip, I would like to ask, when people, if they don't have big dreams, you think they could achieve anything? Or you think people need to have dreams to kind of have a course to kind of set out to achieve something in the world?
Yeah, 100%. If they don't have a dream, they don't know where they're going, there's nothing they can do. So maybe the best that person can do. And this happens a lot. Like most people don't know what their dreams
You
are.
think, is it possible, like, you don't know your dream, but like you do something really hard, you could succeed, but like you don't even have a dream, you just, you know
could
what I mean?
you could succeed, but it's like you're swimming upstream.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a guy like me who I know what I want.
Mm.
So if you go at the thing
Mhm.
with me, I'm gonna win
Mm-hmm.
because I'm gonna be able to wake up in the morning and go do it, and you're gonna be like, so.
Mm.
If you don't have a dream, my advice would be, if you're young, you don't know what you want, just go work with someone that knows what they want. Work with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just the same way that I was telling you with your brother, like come and tell them, hey, like I want to get closer to you, learn, let me know what to do. Go find a person that has everything like figured out and just say, hey, I have no idea what to do. What do you need help with? Let me do it. I think that concept mixed with what you're saying of working hard, because you're going to need some vision so you can go after something. You won't work really hard if you're like this, if you don't know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
So in the case of a young guy, if they don't know what to do, come to someone like me and say, hey, I want to help you. What are you building? Let me help you. And then I'm going to be able to give them direction and paint a picture of like, this is what I want to create. These are the steps that we need to do. Go work at this and do this. Now, you are only going to do that for a season of your life until you find what is the dream that you have for yourself. But the good thing is at the end of that, you're going to come
skills.
out with skills.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And you're going to understand how someone who has dreams and a vision executes. Then once you find what you really want, then you can put that into motion and do that for yourself.
Gotcha.
Like in Regan's case,
Mm-hmm.
she knew that always that she wanted to be a social media like content creator. So she has like 4 million followers on TikTok. She's really good at creating the content that she creates. And she has like multiple accounts. She has her YouTube channel. Like you would think she's like a TikToker. Like if you go to her page and you see like all the stuff that she makes, you're like, oh yeah, she makes content. Dude, I've seen Regan like in the building that we used to live in the same building. Like I've seen her like at 6 a.m, like editing her videos after going to the gym. And then she comes down and she works for like 3 hours editing her stuff. Like all of these people that you see making it big, they have a vision, they have executed for very long periods of time. And that's when you actually hit on the success.
But she just said you don't even have big dreams, right? So you're saying she has a vision but not big dreams, or
No. She's saying that people who don't have big dreams, like they won't do anything. Like, and she feels that there's some people that don't have big dreams. For her, it's like whatever it is that she's going to do, she's gonna do it big. You know?
Do you feel like in our generation, like Generation Z and like younger, like millennials, like we have this tendency to dream too big as compared to our parents, where our parents are kind of just working, and then they're told if you work hard, you'll make it one day. But then for us, it's kind of the opposite, where it's like dream big, you might be able to achieve it, but a lot of people don't make it. You know, it's like entrepreneur. You think it's kind of flipped now?
Yeah,
Like,
you're right. I
yeah.
think that's very true.
yeah, then they become like nothing. They're
Yeah,
like
they're
doing
like,
TikTok
you
for
have
the
too much
for like
to
2
aim
years.
for, and then our parents, they only have one job. You do it, everybody gets like paid, families well off, you know. But now it's like it's kind of different. It's kind of like switched around.
Yeah, you're very right on that, Dale. And I think there's a big gap, like because both ends are bad.
Mm-hmm.
If you only dream and don't execute, then that's not good.
Yeah.
If you only work on one thing, but you're not setting yourself up to do something big that matters, then you're going to be working to build like a little house instead of building a big building. So the challenge is that when you're young, you're not going to listen to anyone, right? Like when I was 12, 13, like I just wanted to do cool stuff. Like I didn't want to like build a brand and know how to do this or do that. Like in my case, I always knew that I wanted to be in the arts and make movies and like come to America and like all of that. I knew that very early on. So that helped me that when I was 16 and 17, my friends were going out to pool parties and I was staying in, editing, learning how to do After Effects and staying up until 3 a.m, studying and learning about cameras. And now like I live in Hollywood and like my friends they don't. So the sooner you can find that and actually learn how to do those things, the better. But I mean, it's tough. I guess if there's any guy that is watching this video right now and you're 18 to like 22, you're already ahead of so many people. Like, connect with other people that are creating stuff and find a way to either learn or focus on making the dream that you have a reality as soon as possible.
Do you think school is important then? Like, if you want to get continuing education, for example, someone just graduated as a bachelor. Is that the right word? As undergrad, whatever. And then they're like, they graduated for a little bit and then they can't get a job and they're like, should I just go grad school? Do you think that's the proper avenue to go, or
What's their profession?
Profession is like just like some BS, like you know what I'm talking about, like just some BS, you know, BS Bachelor of Science or whatever. Like,
yeah, if you have a BS degree on something, like, that's useless. Just go work out.
skill, right?
Like, you're better going on and working at McDonald's than going to get.
He always likes to joke around that he works at McDonald's. He always says, yeah, you know, I work down the street at McDonald's, you know.
Yeah.
That's how I get the girls. hey, that's proof. You don't have to show you're rich or anything. You just say you work at McDonald's, and girls will still like you, man.
Yeah, I don't know what girls are gonna like that.
No, there's still a lot of girls out there that like.
We went on a date with a girl to McDonald's, and she was okay with it.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was on the, there's like a little short on that or something. She asked me, when are we going to go on a date? And then I said something like McDonald's. Let's go McDonald's. She's like, yes. So that's when you know someone's wifey, because she's down for McDonald's.
I wasn't sure if you were joking about taking me to McDonald's or not. But then I was like, I'll go through with it because it's not for the food, it's for the company. So...
Oh shit, dude.
Damn.
But yeah, there's a lot of good girls out there who don't just want like the richness or like a guy with money. So I think that's, well, anyways, we were talking about what were we talking about, like
school and
McDonald's?
degrees.
Yeah, school.
So with that, if you have like a specific, and everyone has heard this advice already, so I don't want to beat the dead horse. If you want to be like a doctor, like something that requires a certification,
Exactly, yeah.
go do that.
Yep.
But if you get some random degree and you have no idea, it's like, think about it. If you're 18, of course you don't know what you want to do with your life. So you're going to go and study like public relations and then spend 80 grand on that. And then you're going to come out of school and you're not going to get a job, because I'm not going to hire, like, I'm better off hiring someone on Fiverr that is doing the PR job already
Yeah.
than to hire you. Now I have to pay you so you can pay your student loans. You think that you need to have a nice car because you went to
And you have
college.
to pay them to train, right? They don't know how to do that stuff. They didn't learn it in college. They learned the theories.
So now the good thing is, if you're going to go to college, like in my case, I got a scholarship to go to college.
Yeah.
So I got a full ride to go and study film. I came from Cuba. I already knew how to do all the stuff. But what did I do? I spent time taking the classes to improve my writing, because I didn't know how to speak well. I didn't know how to write well in English, and it was my second language. So I took extra classes on that. And then the classes that were related to like the camera and the editing and all that, I did poorly on those classes, because I went out and I started my production company and I was making commercials and like making more money than the professor that was teaching me how to take the pictures by taking pictures for companies outside of school. But then I got a C on the class. But it didn't matter, because I was making money and building my production company. So if you can find a way to go to school and not get into a lot of debt, I think there's some value to that, because it's going to teach you some structure. You have to show up. Now, if you're just going to like do whatever and not take advantage of that, and you don't really know what you want, you're probably better off just 17, 18, go work for someone.
Yeah.
Related some way, somehow, in the fields that you're interested in. Work for that person, bring coffee, like do errands, and just be around those people, and then you can learn pretty fast. And the other thing is, you're never going to stop learning and trying to get better at things, right? So if you can find a way to speed up the process of you learning how to learn, and I don't think that can happen when you're that young, though. Like, I think you need some time.
It also can't happen if you're working under someone, right? So if you're just going from job to job and you're just doing it for like the money, You just want to be like a responsible kid for your parent. But it's like, just because you're financially independent, you're not really developing any skills, right? So I tell everyone all this all the time, like the people, especially like Gen Zs who just graduated, I always tell them, just get some skills first. Like if you just work for like a BS company and with your like BS degree, you're not going to get anything out of it. So you're going to stay like at the bottom, right? You just with like, you work like some warehouse job or something like that. You work at McDonald's after graduating, you're just going to be stuck. You're never going to learn those skills to really exponentially increase to a point where you could be like a executive level one day.
Well,
So-
you also have to take a look at what are you doing at night and early in the morning, and what
Yeah.
are you doing in your weekends. So there's a lot that you can learn. Like you can you can go to 0 to 100 on a lot of business related skills with about 2 days of doing research and learning on that. Like
Yeah.
pretty much everything that you want to learn. Like if you want to learn about how to do your taxes for your company, you could probably learn that in a couple days. You just need to log yourself down and say, okay, I'm going to learn this. Put that speed on like 1.5 or 2 on your YouTube playback and just take notes like crazy and decide, I'm going to learn this. I think there's something interesting that happens when you allow yourself to learn new skills and understand and almost be forgiven and say, I'm bad at this because I've never been trained at this, but I can actually learn every single thing that I want. Once you decide to do that, like for example, my brother and I were building this new like strategy and something that we're working on that could be very, very beneficial for us. Like we don't know how to do it yet, but like last night I couldn't sleep. I put this piece of paper and I drafted out this like strategy thing of something I've been thinking about. And like today we sat down and for about 2 hours, we just started executing on it. We went on YouTube, we found like a couple of videos, and now we have like a plan that in 3 weeks from now, I will know if that thing is going to be able to make me like 100K in the next year or maybe more than that, just by deciding I can learn how to do this thing even if I don't know how to do it. The other day we were talking about this project that we're going to go film, and we need to find a sound engineer, and like I was like structuring the workflow of that production as if we were going to hire this person and they were going to do this. And then CJ said, wait, why don't we just hire them to teach us? And then we know how to do that. And then from now on, we know how to do that. Like all of these skills that you find in business, in media, in YouTube, in filmmaking, in real estate, you can learn it the same way that you learn how to ride a bike or how to walk or how to do push-ups. Like once you understand that, dude, like there's so much that you could do in a year. You could learn so much, dude. Like in a year, you could completely change your life and what you know and what you can do.
But you can't learn as much if you're just like working for someone. That's the point I want to get at, right? Like if you're just working like a BS job, 40 hours a week, it's really tough to do.
You just got to work harder.
You just got to work hard. Once you come home, I mean, you need something to pay your bills, right? So you get that money from like your BS job, and then once you come home, you still dive deeper and you still want to keep like investing into like learning for yourself. And so one day you could improve into like the next job, or even not just like the next job, but being a creator for yourself, being your own entrepreneur, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that's pretty key there. All right, let's get into this one. I think this was one of my favorite ones because it really applies to me too.
An identity where I was like a nerd. I was the kid with the cameras. I knew how to edit. My thing was I'm more intellectual. I was not physical. I didn't see myself as being athletic. It took a while for me to figure out that who do I really want to be in life, like in the future. And part of that is like I want to be like strong. Building that completely changed my physique because I started to see myself as I'm the type of person that can do this.
So there's a lot of nerds that study a lot of things, right? But do you think it's pretty important, like if they want to apply that, I guess like my question is like there's people that want to just study a lot, right? A lot of times like they probably go on Twitch, learn how to play a game better, learn how to draw better, whatever, right? But is it important that to really differentiate yourself between having all this knowledge versus someone that implements all of this? Like what is the importance for that? Like, what do you think?
Are you talking about
Kind of a weird
specifically
question, sorry.
implementing what they're learning, or are we going to take it to the physical side of like working out and learning how to fight and all that?
Yeah, I guess my question is like, is it important that you become someone who implements the things that you learn versus someone who just knows like these knowledge-based ideals?
Yeah, 100%. If you're only book smart and you only know information, like who
Like
cares?
theories or stuff like that.
Yeah, who cares? So like, what can you learn that then you can apply to something real? Like in the case of this clip, you can study about workouts all you want, but if you don't decide, hey, I'm going to become like a motherfucking beast, like I'm going to get so fucking strong that I can like mess with anyone, like I want to build that for myself. If you don't decide to do that and you don't see yourself as that, then it's really difficult. Like you're gonna get caught up in like all of these diets, and I need to learn how the protein synthesis works and blah blah blah. Maybe like I feel like because you're an engineer, you probably get caught up in the thinking process of doing. Is that correct?
No, I was thinking more so because I see people, right? They would be all on like researching these things and they act like a know-it-all. So I think what I'm saying this for is like people who are watching this, they should be a little bit more cognizant about, and this is just my opinion, but you could also build on it too because you're pretty successful, right? So it helps knowing from two people's point of views. I think that it is very important that you're not just someone who just like acts like a know-it-all when you haven't implemented shit, you know. And then there's a lot of nerds out there. They're always doing like these studying things, and then when you talk to them about when you're actually doing things, like for example, I opened up a business before, they would be like, no, you gotta do this. I'm like, have you opened up a business before? What the fuck? Like, what are you telling me? I mean, I respect my friends, but in my mind, I'm thinking, the fuck? Like, why would I listen to you? Like, you don't know the actual struggles unless you've been through it, right?
Yeah.
So I guess, do you have anything to build on that? Like,
Yeah,
have you
that's
been
like
across those people?
Like when you go to a gym and then the trainer is fat. Like,
I've seen
Bro,
that.
dude,
I've seen that shit. It's crazy, man.
Goodness, bro.
CJ's laughing too, bro.
Oh my god.
It's crazy. Yeah. Or it's like, for example, gaming. I always like to tie it to gaming too because I'm a big gamer. And there's like these nerds on Twitch always on there just watching it. And they're like, no, you have to study it. And I'm like, what the fuck? How did I get to like higher rank than you in like a shorter time span? You're spending all this time learning the mechanics. I'm actually practicing the mechanics, right? So I think that's the point I want to make. And then do you have anything you want to share, like your point of view, your experiences, like being a nerd and actually implementing the steps that you learned as a nerd?
yeah, I think the one thing that I want to touch on is being a nerd and then making the shift from seeing yourself as a nerd to seeing yourself as a beast. Like there's a huge gap there.
Yeah.
And you can apply that to your physique first and then take that into your like business and whatever it is that you're doing, because there's no way that you're going to be more resilient than me if I know that I can work out and do all of these things as a man and walk into a room with confidence and know how to give a strong handshake. And like if you're coming to do a business with me and I know I can slap you around, I'm not going to respect you the same way.
Yeah.
So we have to stop thinking that it's okay to be just book smart, because in the real world, when you get out of TikTok or Instagram or anything like that, whenever you're interacting with people and you're trying to do a business and you're trying to do something, you feel that. Like you feel that presence. Now, in my case, I was always very intellectual. I love to read. I love to study. I was good in school. I love computers. I love cameras. I'm a nerd at heart. Like I like to geek out on things and go deep on researching and learning. And I like to speak in a certain way, blah, 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 whatever. Nobody cares. If I stayed like that, when I came to America, I was 140 pounds. And you saw how tall I am.
That's
Oh,
like
shoot.
bone. Holy shit.
Like my arms were like little spaghettis.
Oh my God.
But I was like
Oh, shit.
always pushing that to the side as an insecurity. I was like taking the importance out of being strong and just saying, well, I'm just like smart, you know? Like I'm smart. Like I'm not an athlete. Like But deep down, like every single man, deep down, they want to be strong. No matter how smart you are, if you say that you don't care, you're lying. You want to be strong. You want to know that you can like fight. You want to know that you can lift heavy weights, and you want to look good. So first of all, it's like, stop lying to yourself. You are not that smart. You don't want to be that smart. You want to be a full, complete version of yourself. That is what will allow you to live life at the fullest. Decide that you can become that beast, even though you see yourself as a nerd. Stop seeing yourself as a nerd and decide, hey, I'm going to become a beast, because the best version of myself is not only smart, articulate, well educated, and well read. It's also strong and capable, and I can run, I can fight, I can do all of this. That process will take some time, but it starts with you deciding, I can see myself as that version of myself. And anything that you can visualize in your life, imagine that it won't be as good if you're not strong and have big ass muscles. And like, it won't be, you won't enjoy it as much. If you're in a yacht and you're 45 and you're fucking fat with a big belly and you have $5 million in the bank and you're like blowing money,
shit.
you're not gonna feel as good as the guy that is 45. He has $2 million, smaller boat, but he has a six pack. He's gonna be enjoying life way better than you. So that is something that, especially for kids that are young, like the sooner you can start doing your push-ups, going to the gym, like getting close to other guys that are strong, that is going to make you feel so much better, dude. Like, you have no idea how good it feels that you know that you can take your shirt off and you're good. Like, that makes you so much more confident. And then you can apply that to every other area of your life. You know that you know how to put the work in. So then you can go into the business and say, hey, I know how to suffer in the gym. I know how to suffer in business. And then go and apply that. It's amazing what it does to your life.
The advice that I have, I know you said to don't look at yourself as a nerd, but the advice that I want to say is more so, don't look at yourself as someone who is a know-it-all, right? And then know the self-awareness. Know that you could be a know-it-all, but if you don't implement like the steps that the knowledge that you know, then you're just going to be a nobody, right? So I think I'm surrounded by a couple people who think they're like know-it-alls and stuff like that, and they're not really executing. Execution is very important. So I know you're saying to not just feel like a nerd. I think that's good. But also to the other people who act like know-it-alls, it's also important to not just be like a know-it-all. You got to actually implement. You actually got to experience hardship so you know how it feels to be in the system. So anyways, let's get to the next video. We got 3 more videos. Every video we have so much points to talk about, so we got to speed this up a little bit.
It's 3:15 in the morning. I can't really sleep. There's a lot of things happening and going on in my head. In the last few months, things haven't been as good as I wanted them to be for my life. Usually when very difficult things.
This is a kind of a long video, so I'll kind of just summarize it. It was like something about like you felt a lot of stress, right? And then that's why it resulted in this dark mode. I don't know if people saw it, but in his caption, he wrote something about dark mode. It seems like you were going through a lot during this time. And then it really pushed yourself to have no alcohol, no going out, no weaknesses. And you just went on this full thrust mode. Do you feel like when a man or just anyone, they experience these heartbreaks or they experience depression or sadness, they feel like they're not good enough? Stress is a good factor to push you to be a better person. So sometimes, is there good stress? There's bad stress. What do you think?
Yeah, stress is really good because it's going to push you to grow. And you get that in the gym and business everywhere. The problem is that when you get too much of it, like you break. And if you break, then nothing is good. Yep. So in this case, this was like a very personal video. I've never done things like this before. I think it's the first time that I was trying to be vulnerable and just think about it. We do all of this podcast and we go and talk to people and all that. But are we really like doing something with that? Like, are we just doing it so we can get more famous? Are we really interested in helping other people? Like, I am.
I would say you are.
You are. Yeah,
I
like you
was just
mentioned
about to say,
earlier. Yeah,
yeah.
like throughout the whole podcast, all I could recall is you're trying to help people, like trying to give them advice. You know, trying to you giving us advice too. You know, from the
Mhm.
very beginning, you're like, oh, you shouldn't think this way. You know.
Yeah.
So
I
I feel
could
like
feel
you're,
that from
yeah,
you, that
you're
passion.
Really.
Yeah. And part of that, man, is like realizing that we all go through the same shit. And I think with this video, I just wanted to be honest and be like, you know, in social media, it seems like I'm doing amazing because you see all the clips, you see the good interviews, you see all the people. But in reality, like my life in many other areas is not as well.
Yep.
And I just wanted to be honest and vulnerable about that because I think part of it was going to help me deal with it just by talking about, hey, like I'm redlining, I'm stressed, like I'm not where I want to be financially, emotionally, with my relationships. So just talking about it is going to help me. It's going to make me feel like, you know, I'm putting it out there. And that's something that happens. Every person is different. To me, like talking about problems and talking about situations helps me deal with it. And the other part was, you know, I've been getting so many messages from people who are going through a lot of shit, especially like breakup or people in their family being sick or losing people in their family. And now you feel like devastated, or you're just up against the wall and you have so much debt and your job is not going anywhere. I get those messages from guys, and like I wanted to, in this moment, I'm going through that. So I want to talk about it. And I know that by me talking about it is going to help other people.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that happened is that when you analyze everything that is going wrong in your life, I believe that it's all like that because of a decision that you made. And you can change that by making different decisions. So I just thought about it. I was going out a lot just to get distracted, and half of your brain is disguising it as, oh, you're just networking and getting to know people, or you're enjoying now that you're a very social person, or you're going out with girls and doing this or that. But then I sat down and said, at the end of the day, when I go to bed, I don't feel like I'm living to my full potential. I'm not doing the things that I really, really wanted to do. So I just opened my note that day, like I couldn't sleep. And I just wanted to break it down to myself and be like, the reality is, if you are able to cut out the distractions, stop going out, and whenever you don't want to go to the gym, just force yourself to not allow any weakness. Like if you do that for 30 days, imagine all the things that you could accomplish. Now, this whole dark mode thing is something that you can craft for yourself. As long as you follow those 3 things for an extended period of time, then you can decide what are the 3 goals that I want to accomplish during that time. And the funny thing is that if it doesn't matter what difficulties you have in your life, if you take that energy and then move it towards a thing that you can accomplish or a thing that you can actually go and do, funny enough, your brain stops feeling sorry for yourself, and then you start feeling inspired about these things that you're going to do. It's almost like when you feel lost and you don't know what to do or where to go, if you just look at one hill and you say, I'm going to go to the top of that hill, then even if that wasn't even part of the problem of why you were feeling lost, by you making that decision and going over there, you're going to feel that you have a purpose, and you're going to go somewhere that will make you better. It will get you closer to what you want, and you're going to be able to come up and see things different, and then from that you can move forward. So like, I don't know, like if anyone is going through that, if they would do it the same way. Sometimes people deal with things differently. For me, that's the best way that I know how to deal with that, trying to almost cut out noise and distraction and do my best. And I still fail. I still, like, I'm not perfect. Like, I fuck up all the time. But if you can have things that help you come back, you know, like you're starting to lose yourself or lose momentum, and then you have something that brings you back to say, hey, remember what you decided that you wanted to do and what you wanted to achieve and accomplish, and just get back to that.
Yeah, I feel like this dark mode, this 30-day thing that you have going on is really good for men. I feel like men or guys, boys need to go through this to like make themselves better. But I wouldn't say this would be something good for women to go through as well. You know, like I don't know if women would be able to, you know, go through this. Not saying that they're not able to, but I feel like this is something like specifically geared towards like guys in general. That like it's something that like could like help us in a way.
Yeah, I think for women, I don't know. There's very few women that could do that because of the emotion and the excuses. Most of the time, like, they are emotional creatures. So for them to shut down their emotions, it's just very difficult. It's just the same as if I told guys, for 30 days, have all the emotions out there. Like, imagine if we flip this.
That's weird. I don't think he's saying like all women or all guys, right? Obviously, I think like some women, they would get a little bit defensive. They would be like, "Oh well, I can do that. I've done that for 30 days." But
for the most part, they won't. They are getting emotional just by you saying that they can. Then their response is being emotional.
Emotional response.
That is very true. That is very true. But, you know, like, that's why men are afraid to speak out about these things. Like, we're just being very honest, very transparent. It's not like misogyny or anything, but it gets painted in that way. And I just have to reiterate this so many times on our podcast because, you know.
Do you guys get like flack on that?
We don't get flagged, but, you know, even though we're a smaller podcast, it's like we still would probably get some comments on TikTok or something like that. And yeah, I mean, we still need to reiterate a lot that we do look at kind of like more of the majority. It's not like all women. We understand that it's not all women. Yeah. Let's get to this actually.
Pay you money for things. Like, I think if you go from school, think about it, bro. Like, you go to school since you're 5 all the way until you're 20, 21, 22 that you graduate. That is like almost 2 decades in a classroom. That is not how the real world works.
Yeah. Right.
So the sooner you can start getting involved in how the real world works, because I'm pretty sure that the skills that you learn selling cars, tell me about that. How did selling cars help you become a better film?
All right, Daylan, I think this one is yours, bro.
Oh yeah. So what I wanted to ask about this clip is like how you kind of emphasize the real world is different from like school. Going to school for like the first 2 decades of your life. How do you think that it compares to the real world? Does it even prepare you? Or like, is it just like, oh, you shouldn't care about school? Like, do you think school in Cuba was a little bit different than here in the U.S.? Did you have any experience with that?
School in Cuba is way different from here in America. Like, in Cuba, we get into fights. People take your like sandwich for your lunch. Like, they steal like your pencils. Like, school in Cuba is a little hardcore. I think some Americans will benefit from going to school in Cuba for a little bit and get slapped around.
I agree.
Yeah. Dude, like, the thing is, the skills that you learn to be good in school just don't apply to real business. So in school, everything is like laid out for you, and like you have all of this, like the periods, and you know when the test is going to be. Yo, in real life, the test is coming tomorrow, and like you don't know.
In real life, we got an appointment with AxelAxe, and we're not even ready, bro.
Yeah, you're not.
We got all this prepared just this morning. I was like, shit, we're fucked, dude.
Yeah, and like I messaged you like yesterday. I'm like, yo, I have a photo shoot. I'm gonna be nearby. Let's shoot today.
I was like, no, we're not fucking ready, bro. We're not ready, bro. I think it's very important too that we show vulnerability too on podcasts, because a lot of viewers they're like, oh dude, these guys are crazy animals. They are like nonstop like working all the time. But honestly, dude, we were not ready until like today morning.
Yeah, I think you were hangover or something on that voice message. I think it was like,
oh no, I just woke up.
You just woke up. It was like noon. He just woke up. You're like, yeah, Axel, no, let's just keep, keep it for tomorrow. Like,
I'll be honest, I had a date And
Oh,
then
yeah, you went over.
also we had to film like that afternoon. Like, so we were filming from 2 to about 5. Like, we had a different like session. It was like about modern dating, and then it's just fucking.
And by the way, we need to get into
Test
modern
every day.
dating. I got some stuff for you there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
we gotta get into
Dating
that.
is
Let's dip into that.
Oh, shit. But yeah, just going back on this, I mean, yeah, the real world, there's always tests. You know, you never know when it comes, and
Yeah.
just like for class, it's scheduled. Okay, next week, next week.
Well, I would just tell guys, like, even if you're in school, start living your life as if you were not in school. So, and what do I mean by that? When I was in college, my life was different. I was already married. I had my son when I was like in my sophomore year. I already had my production company. But like all of the other kids, like by the time some of my friends graduated, they were worried because now they had to pay their phone bill. And I'm like, bro, I've been paying my phone bill since like forever. Like I pay for my own insurance, my
True, I've seen
car,
that.
like everything. So if you are 18, 19, 20, you are in college, imagine that next month you have to pay your own phone bill. Like if you're lucky enough that your parents are still paying for everything, yo, I challenge you, find a way to start paying your phone bill ASAP. Start paying your car insurance ASAP. Start paying for your groceries, for everything.
But some people would argue, they would be like, well, you're not living your life to the fullest because you're in college, you want to have a good life, you want to have those memories, right? So then they would be like,
Have the
feel like
memories.
you're being a little bit too harsh, Axel? You should.
Well,
you
yeah,
should
I'm
let
being
people-
harsh. Yeah. Do you want to win and be a badass, or do you want to just live your life and have the experiences? Like I was in college, I was an immigrant. I had help from the college and they gave me a full ride. But that also happened because I was really good at what I was doing. Like
Yeah.
I came in and I was working really hard. I had a wife, I had to pay rent, I had to run my business. And even though I had all of that, I still joined a fraternity. I still was part of like the college
Which one?
life, Pi Kappa Pi.
Oh,
My
shit.
fraternity at Lee University.
Cool.
I still did as much as possible. I was just not playing video games.
Yeah.
I was not staying up watching Netflix like that late. You have to decide. And I think it goes back to the identity. Like, if when I tell you, you have to start paying for shit, you are going to say that, oh, but the experience, blah, blah, blah. Then it's like, go home. Like, you're not part of like this. If
Yeah.
people are watching this, it's like they want to get shit done and they want to do something with their life. Then we need to get past the emotionality of like, oh, am I missing out on my life or not enjoying? Do you want to enjoy being a broke ass college student? Or do you want to find a way to make a business and then move to a big ass city so then you can go out and actually live real life where you're working with people who are established, making a lot of money, being around beautiful women, being around actual progress and wealth, and feeling better about yourself? Like at some point, something has to give. You can't have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
You can't be like, oh, I want to have a beautiful experience in college. And then when I graduate, oh, fuck, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like,
Oh fuck! Shit out of nowhere. Oh fuck! Oh my goodness! That's like me. That's like me. I'm just like, oh fuck!
It's like you.
Oh fuck!
I think that oh my god, I feel like they were just like in those like good environments. They grew up without having to experience pain and all that they were able to just like live this lavish life in college, and they were like, well, I want to have these good experiences, so they had the entitlement to do that. But not a lot of people get that entitlement. Not a lot of people get those riches that they could have. Like some people, they go on college with no money at all, right? They take like all the student debt, their family has no money, all that stuff. I'm not like the product of that, but you know, I relate with those people because I talk to a lot of people like this, and then I see like, fuck, if I had to put myself in those shoes where I had to work and also like be in college and study and all that stuff, it's hard. And then so you see all these people who they come from like a really good family background. They're the ones that are saying this because they're spoiled. They are able to do this because they have that entitlement and privilege to do so. But the people who don't, they don't really like empathize with those types of people. And I think that's really important. So if you are from that background where you're a little bit like not as well off, then yeah, it's like you got to go with what you say. But I feel like also that if you come from a really good background, you also should be doing that too, because you come from a good background, you got to make your parents proud as well. So you can't just be like, oh, I want to fucking party and my ass off, and then after college, no internship, no college experience, like working in college. So you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's very important to, no matter what background you come from, you still follow Axel's advice with that.
And you're gonna be able to party way better if you're making money in college, because think about it, all the other kids are broke.
Yeah.
So if you find a way to make an extra $2,000 a month, then you can have the party. Like you become the party. He's like,
honestly, I had an internship when I was in college. I didn't have time to fuck around, but I knew that I was setting up for a better future. So like when you're just working hard in college, yeah, you probably miss out on some experiences, but what do you get in the future? You get better experiences for the future at a quicker pace. Whereas, dude, I see some people, they graduate from college, they have no experience. Then when they come out of college, they have to get an internship now, and it's probably unpaid at that point, and you're fucked at that point. So imagine that you just graduate college, you have student debts, and now you have to work an unpaid internship. And then yeah, it's just like you have to think about, do you want to get to that level quicker or like later, at the cost of like probably some good memories where you get fucked up when you could still do that after college. I don't know, man.
yeah. Well, the rate of drinking alcohol decreases dramatically after people leave college, because like in that, I guess the way we handle that in Cuba is very different. They just give you alcohol when you're a kid.
And get it over with. Here.
Yeah.
Head start. You don't have to do this in college anymore.
Yeah, like I remember I took a shot one time. Like we were at someone's birthday and I was like 6, and they were playing dominoes, and then they had the glasses with shots of like rum. And then I remember, I think it was my dad or my grandpa, they were like, yeah, take a shot.
You're 6?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
That's pretty cool.
And then
Mine was like beer when I was like 3rd grade.
yeah. And then my
9 years
grandpa
old.
gave me beer. I think one time I was like in like my grandpa's town, and they had this big carnival, and I was like probably 5. And I remember my grandpa gave me like to drink from a big pitch of beer just to try it.
Fuck?
It tasted horribly. But like it's a different culture. So with the whole drinking and stuff,
Yeah.
like if your family, if they like to drink, they give you the alcohol, and then you try it, and then you don't like it because it tastes like shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm not a big drinker. Like my mom had very bad history with alcohol, so we grew up all of our life not wanting to be part of that. But they almost like give it to you so you can taste it, and you know that it tastes like shit. I think here in this society, like everyone is so sheltered, and you're trying to protect. It's something that happens, like everyone has good intentions. So as a parent, you're trying to shelter your kid, right? You're trying to protect them, give them a better life than what you went through. But also like all the movies and stuff, it's making you feel that if your kid doesn't have like the good like Air Jordans when they're 7, and they don't have like all the like fancy clothes, and like everything that you see is manufactured. Like in Hollywood, like there are people on sets to make sure that the clothes of the actors are like all well put together, and they come in and brush your hair and like do the last looks and fix your makeup, and like
Yeah, we all know that. Yeah.
everything that you're seeing is not fucking real. So like if your parents are trying to protect you in that way, they're messing you up, because that is not reality. And you need to understand that the sooner you get into taking accountability and just living a little bit more like just real life, where you don't have to have fancy clothes and fancy things when you're broke and you're a college student, and you don't have to be drinking and partying out that much. Like all of that is not going to get you anything. Do have your parties, do enjoy a little bit, but not at the expense of not setting yourself up to make money. Because the best parties are when you actually have money and you can actually afford to like go and get drunk and do this and that. Like I don't care about getting drunk. Like to me, it's not interesting. I've been to all the parties in Hollywood you could think of, and like people doing drugs and drinking and stuff. I enjoy better when I'm just drinking water, and then I can dance more. Like I like to dance.
Same.
So man, like kids trying to drink that much and like doing all that, it's just nonsense.
And I don't know how that contributes to good memories, man. I mean, good memories, it does not constitute just drinking alcohol, honestly.
You have one more about having kids. That's a really interesting
Which one?
clip.
The last tab.
Wait, how'd you know? You can see it?
Mm-hmm.
You can see it.
Wait, where? Like
It's
that?
over there. Yeah.
Ah, I guess so. This was kind of long. This was kind.
He's like, "Ah,
I was like,
yeah,
all
I
right. I was like, that was a good stopping point, but all right,
Uh-huh.
whatever. Let's. You want to talk about this?
I mean, you had it on the tab, so
With kids,
Let me.
specifically, the one thing that I wanted to talk to you about is for the young guy that doesn't feel ready. Like I encounter like young men, they're afraid of having kids. They're afraid of the financial burden. They're afraid of being trapped by like the woman. They're afraid of so many things. And to me, like being a father is one of the best things I've experienced in my entire life. So what's your take on that, fatherhood?
So it depends on where you are. If you're a young man and you get a woman pregnant at an early age and you're not ready financially, it's not the end of the world. Here's the good news for you, and this is what you need to hold closely to your heart. If you succeed in business, the price of a child will be fucking pennies. So if you actually hit your goal, that child is not going to affect your life in a financial way. And I think that's their biggest fear is financial and support. It's not always going to go as planned. Everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face. But anybody that believes that they can't be successful because they have a child is a coward.
With
For his last point, like anyone who believes they won't be successful if they have a child, they would be a coward if they don't believe they can be successful, right? Do you do you agree with that point?
100%. Because like I said, I had my son Abel when I was in college in my sophomore year. And like it didn't happen by accident. Like I wanted to have like a son.
Yeah.
I think we come from a different culture and I understand that. But kids are a blessing, man. And you being able to be a father as a guy. Now, like Justin was saying, if you are super young, you have no idea what you're doing with your life, and then you get a girl pregnant, that is very different.
Gotcha. Yeah.
That is very different. That must be like the scariest thing that you go through as a guy. For me, it was a different experience. I wanted to have a son because I wanted to be a young dad, and I wanted to bring my son like to the world and like be a good dad. Like I wanted that because my dad, like our dad was so amazing that we struggled so much, like the way we were brought up, we had nothing. So like in my Cuban head, I'm thinking I can have a baby even if I'm broke. I'll figure it out. Like I always had that.
Were you broke at that time?
Yeah, I was in college.
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Like I was in college. I had no savings. I was living in an apartment that was like $500 a month, and like it was difficult. But at the same time, it was amazing. Dude, like I was young and I could have my son. Like it was great. Like he was such a great baby. Like, and now we have such a good relationship because I'm young and now my son is 9, I'm 33. So now we bond
crazy,
over so many things, and it's an amazing relationship to have. It's very difficult. Like I don't have all the financial stability that I wish to have to do all the things that I want to do with my son. But I think most people are always going to be afraid, no matter how well they get financially, you're still going to feel afraid about like having a kid.
I'm pretty financially like stable, right? I mean, you guys could see just coming here. And I mean, it's funny because we were talking about that, right? And you're talking about like it doesn't matter what you wear and stuff like that. Even though I'm financially stable, I still dress like this was like I'll be honest, this was $10. And then I think it really all boils down to like you could be very financially stable, but you still feel like I personally still feel like I'm not good enough, even though I can probably still sustain a kid. But yeah, I think what you guys bring up, where like it's like a young man, if he's scared to have kids, he could be a coward. And I believe that it would be a lot harder, for example, if it was like in your position, right? So in your position, if a guy was not able to get things straight, he was still broke the rest of his life, I think that's a little risky, right? Wouldn't you say? Like there would be guys.
Yeah,
like that.
there's more risk.
I would say that there is a difference though between like providing for your family financially and then also emotionally, or like being a good father. Because you see there's like rich people out there, like their sons or daughters are provided for but by everything, you know, like, but you see their lifestyle and then you're like they don't look happy, or they don't look like they have a good connection with their parents. Of course, yeah, like their parents might be successful, they have everything, but like, are they like connected with them, or like do they even share a relationship, or is it kind of just like transactional financial type of thing, you know?
Yeah.
So like I feel like there is a big difference between that too. Like,
Yeah, that point is very important because at the end of the day, a kid only wants your attention, you know, and like your time, and you could have amazing times and amazing memories and be able to like pass down like your love to them and the things that you believe about the world, even if you're going to McDonald's and just having like McDonald's, or if you're going to a steakhouse and having a steak dinner. Like the child doesn't know the difference. Like for them, as long as they're eating, it's fine. And sometimes even when you don't have food for a kid, if you're entertaining them and having a good time, or like you're going on a trip that it only costs you like to drive out to a trail and then just go with them on a hike, like they're happy with that. Mm-hmm. And I think part of the things that I want to bring on to young men is to stop being afraid of becoming a father.
I think what scares most young men is the financial part.
I know that is a big part, but you brought up a really good point that the financial part is necessary, but sometimes it's not even as important as being there emotionally connected. So
contradicted yourself, bro. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
So no, you're right. They're afraid of the financial burden because they don't think that they're going to be able to afford it. And I think is when you take advertising and you see like all the commercials and the baby must have all of these things, and I think it begins with women, because women feel like if they are going to have a baby, they need to have a house, they need to have like a big car, they need to have like all of these things, they need to have a nursery, they need to have a room, they need to paint it, they need to have all these things.
I'll disagree with that. I would want to take my kid to like after school and all that stuff, just so that they could get extra learning and things like that.
When is your
tuition?
When is your kid going to after school and college?
After school would probably be like, I don't know, like early
5 or 6 years.
Elementary school? No, not late elementary school or even middle school.
So how old would your kid have to be able to do that?
Like 8, 7.
It's like 13 or so, 13. Right?
Bro, you got 13 years.
Dude, I mean, that's true. That's
like,
true. That's
when the
true.
baby is born, the baby is this big.
Think about like college tuition too, right?
When do they go to college? We just had a whole discussion.
18 years, yeah.
We just had a whole discussion about how your kid is not going to go to college because he's going to go work with you on your business.
I would still want my kid to go to college if it doesn't work out.
So now you're contradicting yourself.
No, that's the thing. So let me explain myself. The thing is that like college is a good basis. College is a good basis to have, but if he or she wants to go to college for like sociology or some stupid shit, bro, get the fuck. I'm not paying for that shit. Like, go get some skills. Go to vocational school.
So you got at least 10 years to figure that out.
Yeah.
So in 10 years, there's a lot you're going to be able to do, bro. With your business, with your companies, with everything.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, you get to be a dad, which is really cool. I think people are afraid. And at least part of my experience of what I have lived and having 2 brothers and having a big family and a good family, we need families who love each other more than we need money.
Okay, so how do you manage to like handle spending time with your kid while also like pursuing all these like
extracurriculars?
Yeah.
It's limited time. It's very limited time. But the problem is not the amount of time that you spend with your child, it's the quality of the time that you spend with him. So a lot of the times people, like, I have seen other parents that spend time with their kids, but the kid is on the iPad and they're not paying attention to each other.
That's shitty.
Now, in my case, it's very difficult because my kids don't live with me. So I get very limited time with them. And when I'm spending time with them, I also have work and obligations and things that I have to do. So like I just do my best to Whenever I called them, we talk about things that they actually learned, things that they went through in school. And they always, the funny thing is that now they always ask me, what did I do? How was my day? What was I doing? And because of the fact that I have my son really young, like we are close and connected. And now whenever he comes to LA and he spends time with me,
Where's he right now?
he's in Tennessee.
Oh, wait.
So
That's pretty random. Why
Yeah.
Tennessee?
long story.
We can talk about it another time.
So
very long.
whenever Abel is with me, we spend time together making videos. We spend time together learning how to do the video games that he wants to do, working on his YouTube channel. We try to do things together that actually help us create a bond that is not just like, yeah, you come home, you have your kid all the time, and you're like annoyed. Like, that is the part that is tricky as a dad. It's not so much like how much money you need to make to be able to afford a kid, because the kids, especially when they're babies, they don't need that much. I just want people to like try to think different about that, so they can enjoy fatherhood. Like being afraid to be a dad is not a good place to be.
Yeah, some people will say or argue that you're not spending that much time with your kid, but what you're saying is that the quality time is the most important. Even though your kid lives in a different place, a different state, you guys still have much better bond than people who live in the same household, right? Kids that live with their parents in the same household, you still have a stronger bond. That's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And that is all depending on the intentionality of how you spend your time with your kid. Now, I would want my son to live with me. I would want to have way more time with him, but I can't. There are some circumstances that don't allow that. So the time that I have, I do want to spend it and like try to do my best. I'm not perfect. I have way too many things to improve, but at least just not being afraid to be a dad, I think is going to make men actually want to start families and actually want to bring new kids. And like most people only want to have like one kid. And now I see people who are like 35, 37, and they have a girlfriend and a dog. Dude, like I much rather have a son than have a dog. Like dogs are not your babies. People are going to say all the time, oh, my baby, my baby, my baby. It's not the same. It's a dog.
No, yeah. Even though I don't have a child, I could definitely relate to you. Like, it's not a dog, you know? Like, they're two different things. How are they the same thing, you know? It's like...
No, I don't know. I feel like those guys, though, they haven't found like the one that they can actually like.
They're just
trust.
afraid, bro. They're just afraid.
I mean, but you know, like dating is hard, though. You know?
It is, but I'm talking about people who have been dating with the same person for like in a relationship for 6 years, and they have 2 dogs. Like, where is the kid?
Yeah.
You're gonna wait.
If the girl can't conceive, though, that's a different story.
That's a different story, but
We don't
no.
know that.
Yeah, I'm talking about people who choose. They can. They're able. They make enough money, but they're just afraid. There's a lot of people who are afraid.
Yeah.
I think those people that are afraid are those people that are closed-minded, that are not willing to like kind of like entrepreneur, like they're not open-minded to start new business. They're kind of like the old school where they're kind of work really hard and they're like, oh, I work really hard, but I still struggle to pay the bills. How am I going to find a kid? Because they think like just working their job is going to like, you know, help them make a living. But it's like, and now in today's world, it's kind of different where you kind of have to have like a side hustle and some other stuff on top of that.
Yeah. But you will admit that like having a kid, it does like inhibit you from spending more time into your side hustles and your main hustles and just.
It does 100%.
Yeah.
But the benefits of having a son outweigh the benefits of not having it. So you want to be successful to then share it with who? With your dog? No.
Share with who? Your dog? Oh, shoot. Funny. Dog.
You're the funny one.
Oh,
You are the funny one,
bro. That's really funny. That's a good one.
All right, I think we're gonna end it here. I mean, we have way too much good points. I feel like if we keep going, it's gonna be an endless night. So I thank you so much, Axel, for coming on, man. I mean, it was very, very motivational. I think this is probably gonna be like the best motivational video that we have in our section for growth motivation. So, yeah, anything else you want to say? Like, just final last words or anything?
No, thank you guys for having me on and having good questions, being prepared, and like hopefully you guys get to have a lot more people on the show and keep building something interesting. And I'm excited to see what you guys build in the future. So anyone that is watching, like if we can help them in any way, like reach out. Like we're always looking for ways to help other men and like other people to like grow and get to the next level. So thank you guys.
It means a lot, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Super. All right, make sure smash that subscribe button, like. Any support, as what just Axel just said, would help so much. And if you want to be a guest speaker like Axel, make sure to comment or DM us on IG, anything like that. And we'll see you guys next time on Controvert Podcast. Peace out, guys.